Hey everybody, it's Lee. Welcome to Grimmleighs Fiends, and we're looking at day 9 of Inktober. It's an annual prompt competition. Well, is it a competition? It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Stop making everything a competition, Lee. Today is day 9, and the prompt is pressure. And boy, I was trying to figure out what to do for pressure for the longest time. And, well, it came to me the way most things do, through my personal friend, my Lord and Savior, Frankenstein's monster. So I promised with the day 8 content, which was watch, where I drew a Frankenstein's monster watch, that there would be at least 6 pieces of Frankenstein's monster content during the each calendar year. And I'm not going to let you down, folks. This is going to be the 3rd or 4th Frankenstein's monster content, I think, in the last 30 days, because, well, he's the answer to everything. So I'll just draw a slightly different Frankenstein's monster from what I usually draw, because we're going to get some variation in here. Change things up a little bit. And people are actually watching these, so I want to make sure we give them something new. Even if I keep drawing the same thing every time, I want to make sure that there's something at least slightly different about it. We'll let a little Frankenberry inspiration come into play here. This side to be bigger. Whenever you're drawing Frankenstein's monster, you have to be really careful not to put the, and I talk about this all the time, so if this is not new for you, I apologize, but I find it fascinating. Universal Pictures owns the copyright to the neck bolts, so I have to make sure that you forego any neck bolt action in your Frankenstein's monster drawings. So that's fine. I like putting the neck bolts other places, so a lot of times I'll have them sticking out of his temples, or out of his ears even, but today we're going to go with something a little more Frankenberry related. Because of the Franken monsters, Frankenberry is a close number 2 in my heart. This is also me when I have a deadline approaching at my job. So maybe it's not so much Frankenstein's monster inspired as it's the modern American workforce inspired. Alright. There, got our pencils in. Let's get to work on the inks.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a longtime viewer of the channel, I appreciate you sticking around while I indulge myself in this Inktober challenge for this year. I have never actually successfully finished an Inktober, so this year is especially cool with as many people that are following along with the channel as are currently, because that's encouraging me to keep going with it. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome so much. The Grimmleighs Fiends is all about monsters, magic, and mythology. And a lot of times, if I don't have a challenge like Inktober going on, I like to create my own original stories and fairy tales. So if you check out the playlists, you can actually see some of those stories. I've done a few. So I've done one about a little mouse that was the guardian of a bone garden, and that's a fun one. We also have the story of a woodland princess who ends up getting into some trouble while trying to get even with her father for being destructive and not paying attention to nature. And as you're watching this, my latest original story, just something that I've had in the making for about 10 years, has been published, and that's the story of the macabre mandalabre. Now I realize that the word is pronounced macabre, but macabre mandalab just sounds kind of dumb. So just for fun, we're slaughtering the English language. I have my approach generally for storytelling and drawing is that I really do like the creepy stuff. I like your monsters. I even like to get a little sinister with them from time to time, but I also like something with a sense of humor. So you give me a good, solid humor piece in your monster movie, and I'll be your biggest fan forever. So I will talk a lot on this channel about people like Guillermo del Toro, who actually has a very playful sense of humor, even in his most gritty movies like Crimson Peak. There's still a playful sense of humor to it, and I really love that. But I also love that sense of wonder that he packs into all of his movies. So, and we'll talk about that kind of stuff later on. I was going to do a series of movie recommendations for the Halloween season, but with Inktober here, and also Orktober, if you are a fan of tabletop miniatures, I'll be doing some Orktober painting videos here starting next week. I just had to get Mandalabra finished because he's taken up rent in my head for so long that it needed to get finished. It's funny with even knowing that a movie studio owns the copyright for the electrode bolts in the monster's head, that'll never stop me from drawing them. They're as essential to that character's visual signature to me as the stitch work. So I'll still put them in. I'll just put them somewhere different. I'm doing pretty good on time still, so let's get those staples in. Staples, stitches, whatever you want to call them. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. That's what it's there for, and I definitely love having dialogue and conversations with people that have taken the time to watch my videos. So you did me a solid just by watching. I'll answer just about any question you might have, especially if it has to do with monsters or mythology or magic or the art process. It's all stuff that I really like to talk about in general. So Dr. Seussism. Play with your lines. They don't have to be straight. All a straight line conveys is that you're in a hurry. Still doing pretty good on time. Of course, I did really good on time with the previous illustration too, and since I'm not actually running a stopwatch, I need to be really careful, because while this is a self-imposed time restraint, part of having a challenge is sticking to the rules that have been set up. Okay, so I've been doing color. I don't want to stop doing color. We want to play with color some more. So let's get some color on there. Onto our very stressed out Frankenstein's monster. Poor guy, he's just having a rough day. He probably just needs to go home and have some chamomile tea. Maybe a little sleepy time tea action. Still seem to be doing pretty good on time. I'm not going to stress about it too much. We're just going to go ahead and block everything in the way we want it. And of course, once again, I'm speaking in the imperial we. There's always an interesting thing for me to do. Brush. Go back in. Now I'm going to start stressing time. And I know I'm running out of time now, for sure. Alright, even at the risk of going just a little bit over, I have to fix something because this will not stand. One of those things I talk about sometimes in the intros is that I get a little fussy with what I'm working on, and I won't let things be done until they're done, which is hard when you give yourself a time constraint, but you know, it's my time constraint, so I can do what I need to. And if we have gone over 20 minutes, it's not by much. All right, this has been Inktober 2021, day 9, and that's pressure in the bag. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. If you like what we're doing here on Grimmleighs, make sure to scare up that like button, or of course you can let us haunt you forever by subscribing to the channel. We do have a dedicated playlist for all Inktober content for 2021, and of course in subsequent years as they happen, we'll have it there as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can keep up on this awesome content. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. The best is yet to come.